Bob and Walt Tenner are conjoined twins, though they are not at all alike. They live in a small seaside town and run a diner, where they also work as cooks. Thanks to their synchronized teamwork, they skillfully handle large orders on time. There is a slow-witted waiter nicknamed Bullet, who not only failed to deliver an order, but also spilled drinks on a female customer's pants. Her husband went to confront the owners and advised them not to employ freaks in their cafe. The brothers agree with this and ask Bullet to escort the rude man outside. The brothers also play for the local hockey team. They guard the net, and it's nearly impossible to score against them. Bob communicates with a girl named May online, but he's hesitant to invite her over. Walt encourages him to meet a local hottie and nudges him towards her table. Bob babbles a bunch of nonsense, and Walt, being a ladies' man, steps in for him. One area where the brothers' interests diverge is theater. Walt has been performing on stage for 9 years, while Bob experiences panic attacks even at the mere thought of it. Walt has embraced his role, while his brother, dressed in black, remains in the shadows, sweating profusely and suffering. Back in their childhood, the brothers pledged to always stand by each other's side and never get in each other's way. Their synergy allowed them to excel in baseball and leave their opponents no chance in the boxing ring. Walt wants to move to Hollywood and become a real actor, which infuriates Bob, who tries to distance himself but fails. Interestingly, Bob can serve as Walt's stunt double and perform dangerous tricks on his behalf. Time is passing, and Walt is aging faster, having received the smaller portion of their shared liver. They need to make a decision. The townspeople bid farewell to the local celebrities as the brothers arrived in sunny California. They settled in a cheap hotel. May also resides in Los Angeles, and Walt suggests giving her a call. But Bob is not in a hurry, especially since the actor needs to get a tan first, so as not to look pale during auditions. During a barbecue, they meet April, who has been living in the hotel for 2.5 years. At first, she thought they did it intentionally, but then she hints to Walt that he can find a job through classified ads in the newspaper. For example, an actor is needed for the role of Robin Hood, but when the director saw the Siamese twins, he thought someone was playing a prank. They also face rejections at all subsequent auditions. The big city hides many dangers, as Walt gets on a bus and forgets his brother outside. At night, Bob encourages Walt. They have only been here for 2 days, and it's too early to give up. In the morning, they will find themselves an agent. However, only one person agrees to work with them, and he already resides in a nursing home. On their way back to the motel, the brothers spot Meryl Streep, and Walt can't resist approaching and greeting her. He rambles on and invites the actress to relax at their motel, mentioning the pool and the nearby cemetery. Streep had been in their town once and, in the awkward conversation's end, finally remembers the boys and how they played football. At the beach, April asks if they have considered the possibility of separating. There are excellent plastic surgery specialists here. The thing is, Bob has the larger portion of the liver, making the operation safe for him. However, for Walt, the risk of dying is 50%. While Walt was taking a shower, Bob sat behind the curtain wearing a raincoat. The actor received a call from his agent, Morty, who informed him that he got the role. Meanwhile, Walt prepared a surprise for his brother and arranged a meeting with May. However, Bob became so nervous that he crawled under the bed and started breathing into a paper bag. May arrived directly at the motel, unaware that Bob had a very close relative. The guy even cropped himself out of the photos because he was so ashamed of his body. They quickly sneaked out through the window and met the girl at the entrance, already in the car. They tried to temporarily hide their peculiarity, which forced them to have meals at a drive-through cafe. Bob had no intention of getting out of the car and telling May the truth. A threesome date brought a lot of awkwardness, and Bob decided to confess. But then the girl had a panic attack. She was worried that everything was so strange because Bob didn't like her. Later, when Walt dozed off, Bob apologized for his brother's presence on their date. In general, he and May got along well and had a good time. At the end of the date, she asked Bob to walk her to the door, but Walt once again came between them. Finally, the couple kissed, even though Walt was standing right next to them. Cher scolded her agent because she had to play a lawyer for a gay TV series, but the contract was already signed, so she had to comply. At that moment, the brothers entered the pavilion. Walt was a big fan of Cher and asked for an autograph, but received a rude refusal. Still dissatisfied, Cher tried to get rid of the role. According to the contract, she could choose her partner. Well, in that case, it would be the Siamese twins. The producers would definitely cancel the contract with her. Bob came for another date with May and brought his brother along, who got the lead role in a new TV series, even without an audition. During a candid conversation, Cher confessed to him that she was keeping her boyfriend's name hidden from the press. A crazy person approached the vacationers, claiming that May was his girlfriend and that he was about to beat up Bob, but for some reason, his buddy Walt kept interfering. The creep realized he had messed with the wrong guys and left. May invited Bob to a dance, and right next to them, Walt and April squeezed in. Everything was going well for the lovebirds. When the girls went to the restroom, the chubby guy approached Bob again, having noticed that the friends were actually Siamese twins, and he called them circus freaks. They couldn't tolerate it anymore and showed him their paired kung fu skills, dispersing the crowd of ruffians. The producers saw through Cher's plan, but they wouldn't cancel the show and would agree to her conditions. The brothers' agent, Morty, negotiated conditions for his client reminiscent of the 1950s. It meant $1,200 per episode, while Bob, his sidekick, would get by with just $50 a week. The filming of the series had the character of Walt, Detective B, constantly appearing in the right side of the screen. Bob ruined everything. A paper bag he was nervously breathing into made it into the frame for the 10th time in a row, and he had the audacity to criticize the script. Cher, wanting to sabotage the project, suggested that Bob rewrite the screenplay. The strange encounters with May continued, and this time Bob pretended to be sick while Walt hid inside a huge plush bear. The brothers' friends gathered to watch the pilot episode of the detective show. In one scene, Bob hid behind an actress, and in others, his shoulder or nose would peek out. Finally, at the television studio, they came up with a way to hide Bob by dressing him in a blue suit that made him completely invisible to the cameras. In a review of the series, a critic praised the excellent dialogue and the newcomer actor Walt Tenner, compensating for Cher's lackluster performance and weak direction. Outside, a crowd of fans gathered to get an autograph, not from Cher but from Detective B. May came to visit the sick person and saw him undressed in bed with Walt. So they weren't brothers but lovers. There was no more hiding, and Bob finally showed the piece of flesh that connected him to his brother. The girl exclaimed, "Oh my God!" and immediately left. Walt comforted his brother. Reporters uncovered Walt's secret, causing all the sponsors to abandon the project. Morty, the lunatic, advises them to simply deny that there are two of them. The journalists need to be convinced that he is alone, but April convinces Walt to be honest with everyone. So, together with his brother, they appear on the Jay Leno show and give a candid interview. It turns out that Cher's lover is a young boy named Malcolm Frankie Muniz. The brothers now constantly appear in public and star in commercials. Walt is enjoying it, but Bob is saddened by his separation from May. His brother starts pushing him towards a blonde girl to get acquainted, but Bob freaks out and runs away. At night, he looks at a photo of his love and satisfies himself. Walt realizes that he is hindering his brother's happiness and suggests during breakfast that they go ahead with the operation. Bob has always been against it and resists now as well. Walt decides to rebel and lets loose by getting drunk, high, and going to a strip club. His advances towards the girls end with a spray from a gas canister in Bob's face. They also accidentally steal a woman's purse. In the end, the brothers get arrested. Walt, being a celebrity, gets away with the crime, but Bob has to spend a night in jail for drunk driving. Even though he didn't drink, their bodies are shared. Thus, the brothers are separated by prison bars. The next morning, Bob demands an apology from Walt, then hits him and tries to escape, but he fails. The Siamese twins get into a fight, and after that, Bob finally agrees to have the operation. In the evening, May goes to a motel. She wants to talk privately, so Walt turns on the player to avoid eavesdropping. May apologizes for her reaction. She has thought long and hard and decided that his uniqueness is not a problem. However, the decision has already been made, and Bob tells her that they will soon undergo the operation, which is necessary for both brothers. Morty tries to dissuade them, claiming that it will ruin the actor's career, but now they are already lying on the operating table. The girls fall asleep in the waiting room, and a doctor approaches them. The surgery is successful, and the Tenner brothers lie in separate beds, for the first time in their lives. They are used to relying on each other, so they immediately collapse upon standing up. Walter is upset to learn that Bob plans to move with May to their hometown. They will rarely see each other now, but unlike his brother, he never wanted to live in the big city. Walter deeply misses Bob. It's difficult for him to control his body on the set, and in the park, he constantly leans against a statue, as if it's his missing half. Bob also has problems. He keeps falling, only stands sideways at the gates, and struggles to make burgers on time. Even Bullet teases him. April suggests that Walter visit his brother. The show is already being filmed without him. The melancholic actor watches a stack of flashbacks and falls asleep on the statue's shoulder. Even the mean-spirited Cher feels pity at this sight. She understands her former co-star, as her lover also left her for college. Cher suggests to Walter that he remembers what he loves doing most in life and take action. Bob was about to close the cafe when someone played a romantic melody. Walter returns and invites his brother for a fishing trip. A year passes, and the brothers, now chefs, are once again fused together and show their culinary excellence. The whole group attends a play. May is pregnant, and we learn that the brothers are only stuck together with Velcro on their clothes. Besides Walter, many townspeople participate in the musical, including Bullet. And among the invited stars is none other than Meryl Streep.